Sonic X. What can you say about it? No, really, what can you say about it? Whether you love it or despise it, Sonic X has certainly left an impression on a lot of Sonic fans. While the 4Kids American version is often seen as a horrible dub, the original Japanese version was done fairly well. The animation was decent, it had some cool action scenes, and it was enough to keep Sonic fans entertained. Even though the story was complete bullshit half the time, Sonic X came and went, and it has certainly left an impact in the world of Sonic the Hedgehog. But didn't need to have a goddamn comic book! I mean, did someone in Archie Comics seriously believe Sonic X was good enough to have its own comic book series, and that it would be able to make money off of it? Well, apparently they did, because this series went on for 40 issues. 40 issues?! That is shit! The Knuckles series didn't even survive that long, and that was 100 times better than this pig crap. So just how bad is this series? Really bad. I mean, I would rather watch 40 episodes of the 4Kids dub version of Sonic X than read all 40 issues of this crap. And I'm dead serious. I mean, occasionally you will get one or two issues that's at least worth reading, but everything else is just horrible. And that's mostly due to the fact of how horrible the writing is. You'd think because this is a comic book based off the show, they would just make issues based on episodes from the show. But no! They actually went out of their way to make new stories based on Sonic X. And like you'd expect, they all sucked. Now, before I go on, I just want to say that I mean no disrespect to anyone who's a fan of the Sonic X show or comics. I, however, can't stand either of them. So if you were hoping for me to give praise for these series, then I'm afraid you're watching the wrong video. So, to celebrate this ridiculous series, I thought I would take a look at two of some of the worst issues in this series. Issues 26 and 27, also known as the El Gran Gordo issues. God, this is going to be painful. But what's weird is that not only are these two issues some of the worst issues in this series, but it's probably the most famous too. Almost everyone knows about these issues mainly because of how stupid they are. El Gran Gordo was apparently so ridiculous that he sometimes made a cameo in the off panels at the end of a comic. That's pretty bad when even the creators themselves are making fun of their own work. But regardless, just the idea behind these issues was just idiotic. So what's the story, you might ask? Eggman becomes a wrestler. If you didn't roll your eyes in disgust by the mention of that, then apparently you're very easy to please. I mean, what was the reason for this? What mild-brained idiot would go so far as to write such horrible crap like that? Ian Flynn? No! You are one of the best writers that I've ever seen for the Sonic comics. Why would you degrade yourself by writing such a horrible story like this? You couldn't have possibly known that this was any good. No. Wait. Actually, I get it now. Ian Flynn knew that this series was a bunch of shit, so he decided to come up with the most ridiculous idea he could ever think of and put it in print just to mock this series even more. That can be the only explanation for this garbage. Next time, Ian, just stay out of it. So just how bad are these two issues? Well, let's swallow our pride and take a look. This will be a two-part review as I take a look at both of the El Gran Gordo issues. So without further ado, I am Sonic Comic World, and here is my review of Sonic X issue number 26. Lord, give me strength. Even the front cover of this issue looks ridiculous. Anyone looking at this cover for the first time knows he or she is in for some real shit. I'm sure everyone had the same exact question. Why is Eggman dressed as a wrestler? The only thing is, we probably don't want to know the answer to that question. I especially love the tagline at the top. The way past excellent comic? Pfft, yeah, in what universe? And wanna wrestle? Actually, no, I don't. Sonic didn't do so well in a fighting game, so what makes you think putting Sonic in a wrestling comic is going to be any better? The only thing redeemable about this cover is that it was made by Patrick Spaz. As I said, I think he does the best job when it comes to Sonic covers, but even he and his great talent can't save this issue. Okay, so the issue begins with Chris and Chuck. Not that Chuck! I mean, seriously, did they think that we Sonic SatAM fans would not make the connection? Sonic has an uncle named Chuck, and Chris has a grandpa named Chuck. What are you trying to do? Compare Sonic and Chris together to show that they have a lot in common? You are scum! So anyway, as I said, it begins with Chris and Chuck watching wrestling on the TV. Wow, you guys waste no time sucking, do ya? Apparently, Chris and Chuck are enjoying themselves watching people wrestle each other. I have no idea why, but Sonic thinks that the whole thing is ridiculous, seeing as how it is all fake and staged. Oh, thank God! At least someone in this comic has some dignity left. But Chris doesn't agree, as he thinks it's all real. Kid, grow up! So as this surreal fight continues, we see that Chris and Chuck are rooting for a specific wrestler who goes by the name of El Gran Gordo. But once again, Sonic shows that he's the only one with a brain, as he points out that it is clearly Eggman in disguise. But Chris demands him to take that back, as he retaliates by putting Sonic in a headlock. Yeah, nice kid. I mean, first he tried to suffocate Sonic with a pillow, and now he's trying to break Sonic's neck. Why are you friends with this kid again, Sonic? But seriously, how can Chris not see that it is clearly Eggman in disguise? How many times have you seen Eggman in person, Chris? Surely you'd be able to recognize his appearance by now, right? God, he's even more pathetic than the twerps not being able to recognize Team Rocket in all those disguises. Well, okay, maybe he's not that bad, but still, wake up, will ya? But no, Chris still thinks that Gran Gordo is a true hero, and he's all excited as hell because he and Chuck are going to see Gran Gordo's next match live. So Chris thinks Sonic is bummed out because he won't be able to see just how great Gran Gordo really is. But that's okay, because it seems Sonic has an idea. Oh no, please, just stay out of it, Sonic. It's not worth it. So we cut to outside the arena, where we see Gran Gordo and his two henchbots, henchmen, heading back to his trailer. Yeah, those disguises are really something, aren't they? You know what? I'm sorry, but I have a really hard time believing that all of these people are actually fans of El Gran Gordo, and that nobody can see that it is really Eggman in disguise other than Sonic. Is every human in Station Square mentally retarded? I gotta say, I'm quite offended that Archie thinks that human beings are really this stupid. So back in the trailer, we see that Gran Gordo is really Dr. Eggman. What a shock! So why is Eggman dressing up as a wrestler in the first place?
We've got to have money.
That's right. It seems that Eggman is doing all of this just so he can get his hands on some dough. Yeah, what do other evil geniuses do? Rob a bank, threaten to destroy the city, kidnap the president so the government will have to pay you for his safe return? Losers! This is the only way to make money. So as it turns out, Eggman has managed to win all of his fights so far because he has the fights all rigged. Now he's a cheater too? How dare him! I mean, I know he's an evil genius, but I'm still so shocked! Actually, how can you cheat in wrestling anyway? Seeing as how all the matches are planned out, it's kind of impossible to cheat, isn't it? And anyone who tries to cheat will be immediately fired, wouldn't they? But I digress. Tico and Boko think all this fame is getting to Eggman's head, and the trio soon have a shouting match. But it's suddenly interrupted by Boken, who's covered in cotton candy. You know, I think everyone has that same exact reaction when they see Boken appear. Gah! It seems that Boken is enjoying himself too, with all the free sweets he's getting. But maybe a little too much, as Boko warns him that too much sweets can warp your mind. Is it just me, or did Boken just turn into Ace Ventura there for a second?
Really?
So Tico warns Eggman not to become obsessed with this new, quote-unquote, job, but Eggman reassures him that as soon as they reach their goal, this facade will be over. But it seems that wasn't entirely true. My God, are you seriously thinking that you enjoy being a wrestler, Eggman? Are there seriously no other hobbies that you can possibly take up? You know, I have a nasty feeling when this review is over, I'm going to get a lot of angry comments from wrestler fans. But suddenly someone appears at the door, and it turns out to be Scarlett Garcia, who was actually blushing at the sight of El Gran Gordo. Either that or she's drunk off her ass. Either way, that's just wrong. So apparently she has a question for Gran Gordo. She is wondering what he thinks about his newest challenger. Gran Gordo has no idea what she is talking about, but it is revealed on the very next page. Damn it, Sonic! I told you to stay out of it! Wait, what's this? All proceeds go directly to charity. Oh, yeah, sure, whatever. So Station Square has charity funds too, who knew? So Chris is hyped as hell because he will get to see his two biggest idols fight each other. Sonic reassures him that it'll be easy when... Oh, it's Knuckles, apparently. And it seems rather than protect the Master Emerald like he's supposed to be doing, he's going to train Sonic for the upcoming fight. And yes, just like all the other idiots in Station Square, Knuckles can clearly see that Gran Gordo is really Eggman. God, how much longer is this issue? So the next couple of panels are pretty much just Sonic and Eggman training for the fight, and they keep going back and forth between them both. It's almost as if they're trying to copy the training montages from the Rocky films. The only thing that is missing now is the music. No, just stop. It's not worth it. Even a great song like that can't save this issue. But here's something I really don't get. Why is Sonic letting Knuckles train him in the first place? I mean, did Sonic forget to mention that it's really Eggman he's going up against? I mean, just look at his face. He clearly didn't feel like he needed to be trained, so why didn't he just tell Knuckles the truth so he would back off? Because we need a crappy training montage, that's why. Meanwhile, we see Boken looking down at Station Square with a very creepy look in his eye.
I got a bad feeling about this.
So while Boken does his Cheshire Cat impression, we cut to the beginning of the fight where everyone is hyped as hell. Again, I have no idea why. I especially love this panel where it shows Chris and Chuck wearing El Gran Gordo merchandise. Just whose side are you guys on, anyway? So the two fighters for tonight's match are introduced, and their weight pronounced in kilograms for some reason. What, is Station Square in Canada or something? So the fight begins, and like you'd expect, Eggman cheats his way through it. He covers Sonic with some mini-robots, and by using a magnet below the stage, it causes Sonic to be pulled downward. Yeah, I love this line that Sonic says here. You've rigged these fights. No, you think? Did you seriously believe that he was actually fighting fair? This is Eggman we're talking about here, you moron! But even though he's covered with mini-robots, Sonic still manages to fight back using his speed, and he retaliates by covering Eggman with the mini-robots too. Wait, what does he say here? My victories have been my own? Oh yeah, it's not like the mini-robots have done anything to rig the fights, it's just given him a slight advantage over his challengers. That makes sense! So as everyone continues to watch this intense fight, Knuckles suddenly spots Tico and Boko. Again, look at this line. Are you trying to rig the fight? No, of course not. We're just standing here minding our own business. Never mind the power cord that is sticking out from under the arena. I'm just charging up my iPod, that's all. But it's okay, because it seems someone has chewed through the power cord, causing the magnet to go dead, which means Sonic and Gran Gordo are back to fighting again. Tico is apparently stunned because he is wondering what could chew through a cord so thick. I think the main question should be, how could anyone chew through a cord like that and not be electrocuted? So as the fight continues on, Eggman tries to fight back, but he is just no match for Sonic. But just when Sonic is about to take off the mask and reveal Eggman to the crowd, Eggman proposes a deal. Let him stay as a wrestler and their feud is over. Oh yeah, right. Like Sonic is gonna fall for a stupid proclamation like that. Well, what are you waiting for, Sonic? Do it! What the... Oh my god, what a crybaby! This kid is actually crying because his hero, Sonic, just defeated a wrestler he doesn't even know, but obviously should know! You're dead to me, kid. You're dead to me. But apparently, Chris's tears of babyhood does the trick, as Sonic does not reveal Gran Gordo's true identity. Moron! So Sonic is proclaimed the winner, Eggman stays as a wrestler, and Knuckles commends Sonic on his stupidity. Knuckles goes on to say that he could have unmasked him and had total victory, but... Wait a minute. So does that mean that Knuckles did know who Gran Gordo was all this time? Then why did he have to train Sonic in the first place? He knows Sonic would have won easily anyway, so why bother training him? Because we needed a crappy training montage, that's why. So even though Sonic doesn't unmask Eggman, he does however manage to ask the cliche of all cliche lines, what harm could it do? Well, okay, technically it's, what could possibly go wrong, but we'll let it slide. And why do I say it's a cliche line? Because right after Sonic says it, we see Boken wearing a cape, a fake mustache, and a fake beard to boot. Gee, I wonder if he's trying to play off as a villain here. How much more subtle can you get? Well, apparently he is trying to be evil, as he laughs with joy, saying that the Eggman Empire is now his. Oh god, this is gonna suck. Why? Because it means there's gonna be a sequel to this shit. Fucking great. And that was Sonic X issue number 26, or as I like to call it, Ian Flint's Table Scraps. And that's putting it nicely, because this issue is absolutely ridiculous. Making Eggman a wrestler is probably the stupidest idea anyone could come up with. I mean, this is supposed to be Eggman, the evil genius, the tyrant who always tries to take over the world, and he decides to take a break from all of that by becoming a wrestler? Why would he even think of doing something stupid like that? This is one huge difference why I think Robotnik in the comics is way better than this Eggman bloke. And yes, for those of you wondering, I call the character in Sonic Sat AM and the comics Robotnik, and I call the character in the games in Sonic X Eggman. Why? Because they are two totally different characters. Robotnik is more dark, eerie, and sometimes even scary. Eggman is... not. And this issue proves that. I mean, can you imagine if Robotnik from Sonic Sat AM decided to become a wrestler? No, you can't, because you know that a cool, dark, and evil villain like Robotnik wouldn't do such a stupid thing like that. Leave it to this Eggman to do all the stupid and idiotic stuff that the other counterpart wouldn't even think of doing. Now, I'm not saying that Eggman is always like this. He can be menacing at times, and his plans for world domination can be sometimes clever, but when he sinks to this low, that just really bugs the hell out of me. I seriously don't understand why Ian thought this was good to be put into print. Maybe it was done as a joke, but even if that was the case, it's still not an entertaining read. The story is completely stupid, it wasn't funny, it wasn't enjoyable, it wasn't entertaining, it was just crap. Nothing but a large pile of crap that should be flushed down the toilet. The only thing good about this comic is the drawings. Like I said, Pat Spaz did a good job on the cover, and the pencils were done by James Fry. And even though he's no Tracy Yardley or Stephen Butler, he still did a good job. But if you don't have a good story to go along with good drawings, then you have nothing more than a gigantic failure. I give this issue a 3 out of 10. If you're a kid, then you might enjoy reading this issue just for shits and giggles. But as for me, I would rather take a shit on the comic and giggle while it flushes down the crapper than read this issue again. El Gran Gordo can El Gran go to hell. And just the fact that they released a sequel to this shit is just incredible. So will the next one be any better? I doubt it, but tune in next time when I take a look at Sonic X issue number 27. So until then, I'm Sonic Comic World, thank you all for watching, and keep on juicing. Sonic X sucks! Ha ha! Totally worth it.